Obviously, in any kind of mine, you can't be afraid of the dark because it's.
Oh no, yeah,
It
get
is pitch
dark.
dark
Yeah.
in there.
My dad was always a catfisherman. They used to catfish back in the days. And that was back in the 80s, and there was a lot more water around.
What are you gonna do with that? He's like, I'm gonna take him home and eat him. I'm like, that's a gopher snack. I'm like, that's okay. I was
Whatever.
Like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it home and he cooked it. He threw it on the grill, and it was so tough.
Figure out how I can share it aside from the videos and stuff, which I've enjoyed. And
Welcome to Two Side Outdoors. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. So today I got a new guest on here. His name's Spencer, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So Spencer, where are you from?
Originally from California, but I've been out here in Laughlin, Nevada for about 14 years or so. So basically
nice.
home for me now.
Nice. No, yeah, it's like same here with me. It's like I'm a little bit of a transplant as well. I came from Southern California and moved out to Yuma it's going to be like 2 years now.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so you're a pandemic mover.
Kind of, I guess you can say.
Right. Yeah, we had an influx of so many people from California recently, but it's just making these towns bigger and better.
Yeah, true. So kind of just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, as far as fishing goes, I really only started about 2 years ago, but I've been hiking, hunting, traveling, super big into kayaking my whole life. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
Past 2 years, I've been making up for all the lost time I haven't been fishing. So I'm pretty much out every day fishing.
That's pretty cool. It's like for me, it's like I'm more of the weekend angler. Whenever I get a chance on the weekends, or if I'm off during the week, I'll try and go then as well.
Right, and that's kind of how I was at first, but slowly and gradually, I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm
Oh, did I lose you there?
always out there.
I think I lost you there for a bit. Did you lose service?
About that.
Oh, no worries. It happens. Luckily, it's like I have the ability there to kind of pause it right away, so it's just like there's not that very long pause.
Probably doesn't help the fact that I'm driving and you're doing a podcast, but I'm parked now, so
Oh no,
we'll be good from here.
When I first started this podcast, honestly, my recordings were while I was driving.
Oh, okay, cool. won't change. They won't even know.
Nope. So when you cut out there, I don't know exactly what you were saying.
Gotcha. Basically, I was saying pretty much doesn't matter to me. I'm out here all the time. 8 o'clock at night, I'll come out even for like 2 hours to try and catch a couple catfish.
Oh, nice. So up there in that area, do you guys have like flatheads and stuff out there?
Yeah, we got flatheads, black bullheads, pretty much every kind of, same as like Havasu and Lake Mead as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's just like, so since I've been out here in Yuma, catfishing was more or less different to me coming from California.
Right.
Fishing was totally different. I had to relearn how to fish, basically.
So what was the big difference? Like, what did you notice was the difference? Because I never fished for catfish in California.
So the difference was, I guess, the types of bait. Like, I've used to use like stink bait and certain things like that in California. Right. Some of those stink baits out here don't work. Then I started just like researching and finding things just for the area. Some guys say that, I don't know if you've heard of Striker products. I've used that before. Works great out here. But it's been also hit or miss at times though too, depending on the scent. Right.
I've been really enjoying just using good old worms, just for the fact you can come up with some striper as well too. And kind of bigger species range. But I've tried all those like magic baits as well here, and the little pebbles for like carp and cat, and I agree, none of them work. Didn't matter if I used vanilla, strawberry.
Yeah. It's like the only ones that I've had work for me, I don't remember the brand, but I know the scent of it was like dead shad or something like that, but it was like a squeeze tube thing.
Okay. That makes more sense.
That one surprisingly worked for me. But other than that, nothing else really kind of stuck besides that striker. And then once I was put onto like live bait, using just like live tilapia, live carp, live gills, shad. Yeah. Ever since then, it's like I've been catching things just off that.
What's your most common way that you're catching the live bait?
So I use a cast net.
Cast net, okay. Yeah, that's what we do over here in the marina that we're at, and we'll catch a bunch of shad and stuff.
Yeah, it's like out here in Yuma, there's a lot of canals that kind of end up having like a lot of just buildup of areas where it dries out and they just all get congregated into.
Yeah, I would love to use some carp as bait out here, but it seems like whenever I catch a carp, they're like 15 to 20 pounds, so I don't think I know it.
Cut bait.
You cut it all up?
Yeah, just cut them up.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, it's like a buddy of mine out here, he runs a Facebook page for 928 Flathead Boys.
I saw that one, yeah.
He just did a tournament this past weekend. And this guy has so much info to give if you were to like ask him questions.
Okay, yeah, I'll check him out because I was looking over your page and I saw you did a couple podcasts with them as well too.
I did a few with him. Also, there's a guy that he tends to buy his fishing rods from. What is it? Chris Flores of Muddy River Catfishing.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that brand or that guy on YouTube.
Can't say that I have, but I'll definitely check him out.
Yeah, so give him a check. He's pretty cool, very knowledgeable on flatheads and like blues as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's something I'm getting into. I'm doing the Fishing AF challenge with the species.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically this whole next one's going to be all the species of catfish.
Oh, nice. No, yeah, I just bought a hat actually last night after I seen your thing. I was like, oh, I need to get into this.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I mean, I've had the most fun fishing in the longest time just because I was like, all right, well, I got to start each species at a time. So I was targeting them, and it took me like 3 days to catch a trout, but it was all good fun.
And see, that's one thing out here that it's like I kind of miss is like the trout fishing, because it's like out here it's too hot.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we're lucky because I'm on the Colorado River here, so we're getting all the fresh, cold water coming through. Even in the middle of summer here, the water's freezing cold.
Oh, dang. Well, it's like right here, yeah, we have the Colorado as well, but it's not as cold.
No, because you got to filter all through Havasu and Parker.
Exactly, yeah.
Ours is basically the runoff from Meade.
Now, I've done some fishing up there. Kayak camping fishing, basically, right there at the bottom of the Hoover Dam.
Oh man, that's such a fun spot, Willow Beach.
Yeah, we got dropped in at the bottom of the Hoover Dam and made it like a 2-day trip.
Did you hit the hot springs as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so nice.
It was a pretty cool experience. I think there I caught my personal best. Rainbow trout.
Oh, nice. There's some giant striper up there too.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, this fish was at least 23, 24 inches. Don't know the weight, but it was a good-sized trout.
Yeah, there's a hike up there. It's called Gold Strike Canyon, and me and my girlfriend are going on it to hike to one of the hot springs. And it ended up being just extremely steep all the way down there. Like,
oh, geez.
There was we were taking ropes, and it was all wet, and it was really bad.
No, yeah, it's like from the riverside of it, I guess it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, oh yeah, you just hop off and you walk right to them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Such a difference.
That's one thing out here that I haven't really done too much is just kayaking. I have a kayak, but I just haven't really taken it out here.
Right. It's kind of a pain actually out here because I'm like 5 minutes from the river, but I would need another car to pick me back up.
Yeah.
So I have to drive like 35 minutes all the way up into the lake.
So one of the things that I remember you talking about, or that you had messaged me about on like what you wanted to kind of talk about.
Yep.
Opening a tackle shop in kayak rental.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying here because basically all we just have is Walmart. There was a tackle shop in town, but the guy ended up just doing a guiding service only. So. Oh man. In a town of like 200,000 people plus all the guests and visitors we get yearly, I'm like, there's no way it wouldn't be a successful business. So,
no, yeah.
I've sold car parts in the past, and I custom make them and have my own business. So I'm like, there's no reason I couldn't just switch over and go the fishing route as well too.
No, yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, so that's kind of the plan. I'm gonna do some kayak rentals. I'll probably pick those up first because I think that's gonna be the easiest to get going.
Yeah,
to make some money off of it. Trying just to straight up open a shop and getting all the permits and all that's going to be a pretty big endeavor. So,
no, yeah, and there's always things like that you kind of have to walk through first before you can get your feet wet with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but I'm pretty confident in it. So I've ran a business before and I know what basically needs to be done and just got to execute it, I guess.
No, yeah, that's good. And then you said that your favorite fish is carp. Why is
Carp
that?
would definitely be the favorite to catch just because you can come down here on pretty much any day and catch a 20-pounder.
Oh, damn.
Compared to like trying to catch any other species, you're not really going to catch something that big. So stripers, maybe like a 5-pound would be a good one here. But, you know, your smaller carps here can be like 15, 20 pounds still.
Oh, wow. No, yeah, it's like... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, but striper definitely would be my favorite because you get to eat them.
Yeah.
Carp, nobody wants to eat those.
I seen a thing recently. Somebody ate some carp where they basically deboned it off like the ribs,
right,
and turned them into like carp fries. They call them.
Huh? That actually sounds pretty good. I mean, you fry anything like that, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, it seemed interesting. I was like, this honestly seems easy because you're just deboning it right off the rib,
right?
Basically, or just cutting it right off the rib and just using those ribs as like a skewer.
Well, in Europe, apparently carp's like the #1 most eaten fish.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but also I'm kind of wondering, like, are they saying like the carp you find in a lake in Norway, or like they're river carp like we have here?
Yeah,
that could probably be two different species.
True, very true. So, what's like the largest carp that you've actually caught?
Actually, just the other day, largest was 20 pounds, but I've been with a couple friends, caught a 30-pounder. I've seen people pull out like 35 pounds here.
Oh, wow.
40 probably the biggest, but I think most of the time once people start getting in that size range, scales stop really cooperating as well.
True.
I know my scale might go up to 50, but even then it could be iffy.
You get one of those big scales that goes up to at least 100.
Right. One of the fishing pier ones where you can weigh the sharks on them.
Oh, yeah. So, you are also talking about, like, say, rods, expensive rods and stuff like that. What was your kind of take with that? Like, what were you trying to go for?
Well, basically, I've been fishing pretty much only with ugly sticks, and they're like $40 for your rod, and I can toss them around, throw them around. I never have to worry. I bought like a $160 rod recently, and the tip snapped in like 2 weeks. So,
jeez.
I don't know, user error maybe. I mean, like I said, I've only been fishing like 2 years, but I abused my ugly sticks and never had an issue. And so then I went to go warranty that rod, and they're like, "We'll give you 25% off your next one." So we'll see how that goes. That's basically what I was getting at. Is like for someone who's just out here with their friends and family on a weekend, like definitely. Probably not worth getting that $160 rod.
No, yeah. It's like, for me, I grew up using an ugly stick. And ever since then, I've always been a fan of them.
Yeah, they're just hard to beat. I mean, as far as the action goes, I had a 6.6 rod, that ugly stick. And then I bought a 7-foot rod from the company, the expensive one. And as far as casting, it didn't really make much of a difference. I mean, even jigging, it really didn't make much of a difference either. It felt lighter. That's about the only thing I really noticed was it was lighter and it looked cool, I guess. But as far as performance for just trying to catch fish, really didn't make much of a difference.
Yeah, because I have like one of the simple Walmart ugly sticks. Basically, I think it's a GX2 or something like that.
Yep. Same one I got.
I don't know I think it's like a 6.6 or a 7, one of the two. And that one I've had for years and no issues with it whatsoever.
Yeah. I will say the reels on those are kind of junky. Upgrading to a nicer reel totally changes the rod, the way it performs.
Yeah, I've done that. I've even taken my reel apart just to re-grease it, just because it's like, something didn't feel right.
Right, yeah.
And
I was down in Lake Powell Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was down in Lake Powell a couple weeks ago, and it was just ripping wind, and the sand was everywhere, and it got in everything. And 2 of my ugly stick reels, I basically just kept fishing with them because it was still early in the night. But by the time I was done, I ruined 2 reels from just cranking sand through them.
Oh, jeez.
But it felt fine because, I mean, it's a $40 ugly stick combo, rod and reel. So
yeah.
I'm like, if it's something more expensive, I would be like, all right, well, I guess I'm done fishing in the wind.
Yeah. Man, then recently I picked up another ugly stick casting, just like a bait caster.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like one of the, I guess, the catfish ones, more or less. It's like a camouflage one. Yeah. So far, that one, I like it as well. It's worked really well for some of the flatheads out here that I've caught. And I'm surprised on how well it handles with it being kind of overlined, I guess you can say, because I think it's like 65 pound braid on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen reviews online of them. One guy, I think it was that rod specifically, he was picking up his 80-pound kid, like, he was on a pontoon boat, and he was picking up his kid in the air with the rod.
Yeah.
No, definitely can't go wrong with the ugly stick. Definitely say they could do better on their reels, but for the price you get them for, I would say it's the go-to for any, like, you're going to spend $25 on the Ozark Walmart special, you might as well just spend the $40 on something that, like, can actually last you forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I was recently given a bait caster as well, just a regular bait caster for, like, bass and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
That was, I think it was a Bass Pro special. It was a Bill Dance. And that one, my brake release broke on me.
Oh, dang.
So I was just like, damn, I need a new, actually, bait caster reel. I just picked up that little cheap Ozark Trail one from Walmart.
Right,
fit on it perfect, same colors. Works better than it did before.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Ozark Trail stuff, I'm not opposed to it entirely. Like, I know it's like a cheap Walmart brand, but they are basically taking the ideas from like 5-10 years ago equipment and just making it cheaper. So
true.
Technology is there. The line usually is pretty junky, but other than that, I don't mind their stuff.
Yeah.
Just made my first cast out with an anchovy.
Oh, nice. So you had mentioned also as well about how people get upset when you, like, say how someone takes home a bass basically to eat versus catch and release. Yeah,
definitely. I'm like, up in this marina I fish at, people like will get mad at people and be like, what are you doing that for? And it's like, well, they bought their fishing license and they want to eat a fish. Like, I've just never seen why. I mean, obviously if someone's doing like 7 smallmouth bass, but I mean, even then, if it's a limit, it's a limit. So
true. Yeah.
That's just, it sucks. Obviously they'd be taking like the sport fish away, but I don't know, maybe it's more helpful sometimes even too. So
I see it both ways. Like, certain size, I guess it would be more or less. Like, say if it's a good small little 3-4 pounder, keep it if you want to keep it.
Right.
But if it's like 6, 7, maybe even a 10 pound, if you're lucky enough, I would say toss it back, really. That's just me.
Right. And at that point, I mean, at least with like the striped bass, they usually say like once they're at the higher limits of the weight that they're going to become, they're usually not that good eating anyways. So
true. Yeah.
You're probably better off, if you are going to eat them, just eat the smaller ones anyways.
And so usually it's like those larger ones, those are the breeders.
Right, that too, yeah. So makes sense.
True.
I guess keep it under 3, keeping it, or it all depends kind of on your lake, how the size is in them too, and then based off that, make your decision.
True. I know, like out here, there's a lot of smallmouth bass here in the canals.
Yeah, same here. We predominantly have smallmouth bass and way less largemouth. Which I've heard the smallmouth are better eating anyways, but I personally haven't had either yet.
I don't think I've ever had either one, really. And usually whenever I try and fish for bass, the only little things I get are the tiny little, like, 4 or 5 inch dinks.
Right.
They still go for your jig or your worm or whatever it is.
Yeah, I actually haven't done much worm fishing for smallmouth. Every time I've done it, it's been like lures and other things like that. So live shad's probably my favorite, though. That's like fishing with the live shad's probably the most fun you could do, in my opinion.
See, it's like I've used live shad, but like I said, it's only for catfish that I've used it, and they're like large gizzard shad.
Okay, yeah. These are small, like maybe the palm of your hand, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty good size. Like the ones that I've are a little bit larger than that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like I'm surprised on their size. I'm like, these suckers are huge.
There's some giant ones out of Havasu. Like people were catching like a 2-pounder, I think it was, or something.
Of shad?
Yeah, 2-pound gizzard shad.
Oh wow.
The Havasu has some pretty crazy catfish there too. There's people pulling out like 60+ pounders. Like,
oh, I
like
believe
basically
it.
The whole length of their body. So
yeah, I believe it.
Which is weird because that lake is connected with the Colorado River all the way up to the dam I'm fishing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there really isn't much catfish on this river, or at least not that I've seen. So, are catfish more of like a lake, or do they like to go up rivers that are fast current?
So, just recently, we had a meeting before that tournament. He had a little get together. There's a guy there that works for Fish and Game that was in the tournament. He was talking about like the migrating patterns of the flatheads. That he's had one go down 2 different dams over a period of like a year. That it traveled that far, which was like a good 30 miles plus or something like that.
Right, yeah.
And that was just right there on Colorado.
And that would be where, like, is that connected with Parker, or is there another dam between you and Parker?
I think there's 2 dams.
2 dams, okay. Yeah, I've only made my way down to Parker. That's the furthest I've been, so.
Yeah, because we have Imperial Dam and then Laguna Dam.
Okay. I hear a bunch of jet boaters go down there pretty often, too.
Yeah. But it's like out here, a lot of the fishing, if you're going to fish the Colorado, you have to do it by boat. There's not very much shore fishing that you can do.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're pretty lucky here. It's entirely shore, pretty much as far as you can see. There's only a few spots you can't fish, but that's just because it's the casinos or private property, houses and things. But other than that, you can't really beat it out here.
And it's like I've done fishing up there near Blythe before.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like there, I didn't really know what I was doing, honestly.
Whenever I went to Parker, Blythe, and that river down there, I always had a tough time as well. It seems like there's a lot of deeper pockets that you basically need a boat to get to. Otherwise, you're just fishing pretty shallow stuff. So, the Colorado River where I'm at up here, I'm on like a fishing platform right now it's like 10 feet above the water.
Oh,
so
nice.
you get pretty good castability out into the river with that.
Oh, nice. No, yeah, it's like I've done up there near Blythe, like the backwaters on the Arizona side, and then I've done some of the canals on California side. The only luck that I've had was actually on the river itself with just channel cats.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And that was during the day too. I was surprised.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've always caught them at dusk and nighttime. The carp seem to hit any time here, but at dusk and nighttime, there's a bunch of flies that go around, and you see them hitting top water all night long. I wanted to come out here with a fly rod one time.
That was one thing that I've seen out here recently that someone posted that, I don't know if they were fly fishing for carp or if they just had like a green, it looked like a lot of the algae or moss, but it was something very similar looking, but it was just like a little jig, and they went for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be a little cautious just because I know the size of carp that are out here. I know fly rods are typically not for 20-pounders, but they're expensive to buy too. So I'm like, I don't have a fly rod right now. I'm like, well, I wouldn't buy it just for carp because then I'd have to buy like the biggest fly rod possible.
Oh yeah, something that can handle it.
Right. So I'll probably skip off on trying to catch the carp. But even then, you never know. You may still get one. So.
True. Yeah, no, I actually just purchased a bow fishing bow.
Oh, nice. So I've been looking at them.
I seen a cheap one on Amazon, Cajun bow fishing. Just a recurve bow, so it's a simple. I think it's called a fish stick.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. How much was it?
It was I think it was $130.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah,
I'm like looking at all. I was looking at bow setups, and I'm like, damn, this is gonna get expensive real fast.
That's why I was like, I was looking for something real simple that's not gonna be too expensive, just enough to get your feet wet, basically, with it. And I was like, oh, this is perfect.
There's a lot of people out here doing spear fishing right now since the weather's warming up, and I thought about doing that too, but I don't know about the swimming around stabbing fish. At least the bow seems a little bit more like a hunting kind of thing.
Yeah.
When you're in the water swimming, you just like swim up to a fish and poke it. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
No, yeah, it's like I feel that way as well.
But at least it is nice in our area. There's no dangerous animals in our water. You pretty much swim and do whatever you want here.
Just about. It's like you just got to worry about what's on shore, really, is like the rattlesnakes and whatnot.
Right, or the elusive dangerous boater.
Yeah.
I was down at the river the other day, and these people were out there, no life vests, 4 people on a ski, just ripping around in a no-wake zone. It's like, cool.
So what did you mean by gatekeepers of the best fishing spots?
There's a thing on FishBrain. I don't know if you've used the app.
Yeah, I've used it before,
they basically allow you to make the location a secret. And I'm like, to me, it's like, it's not really that much of a secret. And it's like, do you go there every day and you don't want people to fish there? It's like, I don't know. They've seen it done with like hot springs before, where people would be like, oh no, there's poop in the water there. And so I've seen people do that with fishing spots as well. And I just think it's interesting to not share with other fellow fishermen.
I see.
It's all preference. I don't really care. I get why they would do it, but also I'm always the one to be like, they're like, where is that at? And I'm like, oh, right here. Here's how you get there.
No, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, some people don't like it. Some people do. So I always see it on Facebook when someone asks, hey, where's a good place to fish? And it's like it's new people that are just trying to get into it. And then someone will just comment on it saying, go and explore. Find it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, that's like not how a hobby should be when someone asks. It's like dirt bike riding. You would never really be like, have a secret dirt bike riding spot. You would just be like, oh yeah, we go to this place or that place. Like,
it's like,
I don't know.
No, yeah. It makes sense like that, but it's like, I know, yeah, some people don't want to give up their spots too, but
right,
these people are trying to get into this. Give them at least a chance. Just throw them a bone. Show them at least one spot that normally gets publicly fished versus, say, your honey hole, I guess you can say.
Right, exactly. And even then, I mean, I've fished all over this town, up and down the river. Every spot is a fishing spot. I mean, there's really no bad place to go if you've got the right technique. So
true.
I think people should be more focused on asking, where's the best lure to use, or what's the best bait to use at any spot, and then probably the better way to look at it.
Because I've actually seen it go 2 different ways. Like how you said, someone will show you, someone won't. So there's that way. But then also, if it's a girl asking, right away, they get all the answers.
and they also get messages of dick pics though. So
yeah,
you can
true.
take your win or loss with that one. So I don't know if I want to know your fishing spot if that's what I'm going to receive after.
Because that was one thing that I noticed just recently as well. Is like there was a girl asking for fishing spots and stuff, and right away, everyone just started giving her answers of good spots. I was like, dang, what the heck's going on here? These people are actually giving up their spots.
Right, for once. Yeah, they do that in the camping group too. There'll be like someone who's like down on their luck, a guy, he's like, I just really need a tent or something. Nobody donates, and then a girl and her son goes on there and they're like, I've got 10 tents you can have.
That's
she
funny.
ends up starting a Craigslist page to sell all the extra camping gear she got for free.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, altogether, I don't really mind gatekeeping. It's all up to them. I just think it's like kind of a funny concept to like hide it so much.
No, it's like my good friend. He didn't necessarily tell me spots or anything like that. He told me general areas. So it's like he said,
right,
the river will produce, the canals produce. Basically, use these baits, get out there, and explore.
Yeah.
So I was just
because I mean, even like you say, a good spot is a good spot, but I mean, I've fished the same spot 2 days in a row, and one day I caught 15 fish, and the next day I caught 0 with the same exact techniques in literally the same exact spot too. So
exactly, yeah, I've done the same thing. It's where it's like I've gone to a spot where I've caught fish multiple times. One day I go, nothing.
Yeah, it could just be something as simple as like a different breeze of the wind, or maybe even like a bigger fish was in the area and scared them all off. So that's one thing I've really been trying to research more and more is like the tactics of fish, migration, how the moon affects them. That's been like something I've really been researching about recently.
The moon phases do really affect them.
Yeah, because you figure what I'm seeing, like full moon, probably best time to fish. It's probably best light. No moon seems like not the best, but I don't know. What have you seen?
I've noticed full moons. Yes, it's pretty good. None, it's hit or miss. And then when it's like just like a half moon or whatever, it's been the same thing. It's been like some days have been good, some days have just sucked.
Right.
But
I think we pretty much deal with the same river for the most part. You're a little bit farther down, but I assume you probably got all the same species we do.
Yeah, there's a lot of striper out here as well. Carp,
yeah.
Bluegill, tilapias.
Okay, we don't have tilapia up here.
The other day I caught it was like a 4.7 pound tilapia.
Nice. Do you eat those?
I'm gonna try this one. I filleted them up and.
Yeah. Because I've got a garden in my backyard that I've been working on the past 2 years, and I'm digging a pond back there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to figure out which fish to stock, and the tilapia is a pretty hardy fish for summers and the heat out here, so that's pretty high up on the list for me.
I've had, so it's like whenever I go and catch live bait, majority of it will be tilapia. There'll be like some gills and some shad in there as well.
Right.
The tilapia dirty the water real quick.
Yeah, it's gonna be like an aquaponics thing.
Okay.
So it's gonna be filtered through rocks, and then I think the main pond I want to do like prawns or crawfish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be small. It's only like 5 foot by 5 foot. So, but I figure at least can put some live bait in there, and worst case scenario, I'll throw some ice in it and make a little cooling bath for the summer.
Yeah, it's like I've noticed that. It's like I've had my shad and my gills die on me basically while out fishing because of the tilapia.
Oh yeah, we were playing around with a couple different methods to keep our shad live longer, especially here in the summer and stuff. Really, the only option we found was this: you got to have a bag of ice with you to keep the water the same temperature. Because even a couple degrees of it slightly changing, we thought it was maybe like the scales in there building up too much, or we had an aerator on it too, but. So,
no, it's like this past weekend when I went fishing. Oh, did you get something?
I sure did.
Oh, nice.
Doesn't feel too big, but he's on there, I think.
Yeah, this past weekend I went and cast netted, brought him in pretty early, and I had to do at least 3 or 4 water changes on him just because of how much those tilapia were dirtying that water.
Yeah, we're bringing 2 buckets always to make sure that it's okay. But even then, it's kind of a pain. But it's nice to have live bait, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Game changer right there. Yeah, it's like one of the spots that I was out fishing at. There were some gentlemen that pulled up right next to me, fishing spot basically to the right of me where I was already set up. They had been fishing from closer to the border of Mexico. And were working their way up towards where I was. They had been fishing just about almost all day. And they hadn't caught anything. I gave him a live gill. Next thing you know, he catches a small flathead.
Right. It's so fun, live bait.
So I was like, I made their day just by giving them some live bait. So I was like, that's awesome.
when me and my buddy fish up in the marina, we're catching the shad, and a bunch of older people will come there and, oh, what do you guys have? And we're all, oh, we got some shad. And they're like, oh, Chad? And we're like, not Chad. So now we always joke. We're like, you got any Chads or Kyles?
Oh, that's funny.
It's a pretty touristy spot up here. So, like, even walking down, there was some people trying to talk to me, but I had both my headphones in. So I was like, oh, well, sorry, I had ignored you.
Out here it gets kind of touristy as well. It's snowbird community.
Yeah. I'm jealous. I mean, my goal is to be a snowbird as well, so I can't really hate on them.
That would be kind of awesome, though, at times.
Yeah, I mean, the nice part, too, would be, like, you could just come back here for the summer for, like, a month, but the most part, summertime, I plan to be up in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That's one thing that it's like I'm into as well. It's like I enjoy hiking, hunting whenever I can.
I haven't got too big into hunting, but as far as hiking goes, I try and go to as many national parks as I can.
Oh,
and
nice.
that's 10 so far, which isn't really that many, but it's still quite a bit when you got to drive to all of them.
Yeah, that's still quite a bit.
So, but yeah, there's a pretty cool app that I've been using that you can basically track them all and everything. So,
what is that?
It's called Park Wolf.
Okay.
And the nice part too is if you don't have service and you're in a national park, they pre-download all the national park maps for you.
Oh, that's cool.
So a lot of the times I'm in there and I'm like, okay, we're lost now. I guess we actually have to go get the paper map, but no longer.
That makes it a little bit easier there.
And I always, too, when I get to the gate, they're like, do you want a paper map? And I'm like, no, thank you. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, damn, I should have taken that paper map.
Paper maps will always come in handy, but you also got to know your sense of direction with a compass.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My compass is my Garmin, and it has an SOS on it, so worst case scenario. That was one thing, like doing backcountry camping and stuff, and I'm going to do some solo hikes on the PCT and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely wanted to have the Garmin with the GPS on it. So
it's like for some people, they might not know what the PCT is. So it's the Pacific Coast Trail, I believe.
Yep, Pacific Crest Trail, and it goes basically Mexico to the tip of California all the way up. It's all dirt, and then there's a bunch of towns you can stop in along the way.
Oh, that's cool.
I wouldn't do the whole thing because the whole trip alone is pretty sure it's like 45 days or something.
I would say, yeah, it's a long trip.
It's a serious, yeah. I'm called like a section hiker, where basically I'll go out there and I'll do one little section at a time, and then eventually I'll complete the whole trail.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I've been practicing hiking and backpacking stuff because I want to do some backpacking hunting trips next year for quail.
Oh, nice.
Pretty good area out here, and there's a spot where you can quail hunt and go fishing and camp right on the water and stuff, so I figured that would be a pretty fun adventure.
That sounds like fun.
Go for some catfish and quail.
Yeah, out here, there's a lot of... Yuma's known for its dove hunting.
Dove hunting? Okay, yeah. We don't have quite as much dove out here, but...
Yeah.
I haven't had a dove, actually.
You've never tried it before?
No, I've had quail, but I have not had a dove.
I don't think I've tried quail, but dove is very... It's an acquired taste. It's very tinny. Metallic tasting.
Did you eat a BB?
No. No. It's just the way they are. It's very different. It's like I've had to mask it with like bacon.
Right, yeah. Bacon wrapped quail is like one of the most common things that people are making out here. Or they'll like mix it into like a chili or something like that. So it's usually like
you do
not eaten
dove jalapeno poppers.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. That looks good. I got a bunch of peppers growing in my backyard that I make in my own homemade jalapeno poppers.
Oh, nice.
But they're actually like a yellow sweet pepper, banana peppers instead. The jalapenos burn the hell out of my mouth if I do them wrong. I've spent like an hour making a whole batch just to realize I can't eat this.
You got to make sure you clean out those veins on them real well.
Ooh, one time I cleaned out like 50 peppers with barehanded and was using my nails to scrape out the seeds.
Ooh.
And under my fingernails hurt for like 2 full days. I would never do that again. And then every time I like touch my eyes or anything like that, they'd burn. That was a bad 1 to 2 days. So I learned pretty quickly on that one, though.
Oh no, it's like whenever I do stuff like that, I make sure to wear gloves, just because it's like I don't want to deal with this stuff later.
Right.
Some people are like, "Why are you wearing gloves while doing that?" It's like, do you want that pepper juice on your face somewhere?
Well, when I use anchovies down here, I use gloves when I'm hooking them on because I really don't like the smell of anchovies on my finger in the hot summer sun.
Yeah. Oh, so I actually have a kind of tip for you right there. With if you're like, say, whenever you're dealing with like raw meat or anything like that, or raw fish, how your hands kind of smell, like a few days after, basically, they still smell like it. Get yourself a stainless steel soap bar.
Okay.
All it is just a metal bar shaped like a soap, and you use that with soap, and it takes away that sulfury smell.
That's good to know for sure, because even after I wash my hands like 4 times with Dawn dish soap,
it doesn't go away.
I'm like, you guys lied to me. You're literally washing oil off a duck, but it can't get anchovies off my hand.
Yeah, you want to invest in something like that. It's like ever since I learned about that, I do that basically after I'm done messing with raw meat or anything like that. It takes away that smell.
Good to know. I'll have to check it out. I'm sure they probably got them on Amazon.
They do. I think that's where I picked up mine.
Man, Amazon has broken all of us.
It has.
I make like custom parts for cars, like I'll do exhaust work and stuff, and I'll get people message me like 2 days after, like, is it done yet? And I'm like, I'm not Amazon, I'm sorry. I cannot keep up with the way they ship so fast on everything, like especially like the same day delivery. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, people look for that instant gratification a lot of times, and it's like, come on, you're paying for custom stuff.
Right. That's why we're fishermen, because we don't care about the instant gratification.
It takes patience to fish.
Absolutely. It's definitely like, if you would have asked me 3 years ago when I wasn't fishing, if fishing was a sport, I probably would have said, yeah, but not really. But now actually fishing for the 2 years and really, really fishing a lot, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is a sport for sure. It involves everything that all other sports include. And I used to play hockey, so that was a pretty challenging sport. And this definitely fills the gap, even though it's not like a contact sport.
True, yeah. See, I seen how you said building a fishing product brand. What were you thinking with that, or is that tied into like your tackle shop idea?
No, that would be like at the tackle shop. I'll sell stuff that I make, like pre-tied hair rigs for carp.
Okay.
I have a couple products that I've already started making, like some surf sand spikes. I can weld and stuff as well too. So there's a lot of ideas that I have.
I'd say you could do like rock holders and stuff too.
Exactly. Yeah, I could do pretty much anything. I was thinking about doing some work on kayaks because I really enjoy kayaks mostly rather than boats. So I definitely is looking to doing some custom stuff for kayaks and maybe have an install shop out here as well too. Mm-hmm. And then as far as branded products, most of it's just going to be like pre-tied hooks and stuff that'll go in the shop and things like that. So maybe put them on eBay and whatnot.
Oh, nice. So it's like the same thing. It's like with my guy out here that I use for tackle and stuff. He does a lot of his own. He makes his own weights. He does pre-tied rigs and everything as well.
Yep.
And all that stuff tends to sell because he sells a lot of Whisker Seeker products.
Okay. Yep.
So far, those things have worked pretty well for me. No issues with those.
Yeah, and once you get local to your area and you know what works, then you can really start advertising to the locals. And especially with this town, there's not a tackle shop. It's Walmart or Big Five. Those are your two options. And Walmart's not bad, but there's no one's going to help you there. You walk in, even if you find an employee there and ask them about it, like they don't know anything. Like there was expired Berkeley Alive Gulp minnows have this juice in the bag, and it was an expired one. So I took it off the shelf and like put it on the ground, hoping that they would see that. The next day I went back, it was back up on the shelf. So I took it back down and put it on the floor. And I was hoping they'd notice that like one looked extremely yellow and the other one was clear. And so the third time I took the package and threw it on top of one of the shelves, like way up high, because I was like, I don't want someone to buy that thinking that they're getting a good bag of bait, because I recommend it to people all the time out here.
I've used a lot of like the Berkeley like gulp products and stuff like that. The little worms and stuff, they work pretty well.
Yeah, they're hard to beat. I mean, they're nice. I haven't used the worms. I mostly just use the little gulp minnows because they look like the little shad we have out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I catch on the little 2.5 inch. I catch every species. I've caught in 3-pound largemouth. I've caught in stripers, bluegills, trout, all kinds of stuff. So
how do you actually set those guys up on a hook? What kind of?
I use a 16th ounce jig head.
Okay.
A little black jig head with them, and it works pretty well on like a small, like I have a 5.6 ugly stick that's kind of small,
mm-hmm.
and it works perfect on those. So.
Oh, did you get something again?
I sure did.
So earlier when it got like that, did you actually bring it up and everything?
Yeah, I brought it up. I unhooked him. I took a picture of him, and then sent him back on his way.
Oh, nice. It's like I can't hear any of it when it goes on. It's like all I hear is just the real bzz,
bzz. Right. Yeah, he's up on the dock with me right now. I'm pulling the hook out and everything.
Oh,
I try not to let him flap on the ground anymore, so that's why you probably didn't hear too much.
When you take a picture of him, it's like you don't want him dirty or anything like that either, though.
Right. Yeah, and this one, interesting bite.
Oh, I was pissed off on that tournament though that I did Saturday.
What happened there?
I had a channel cat that hooked up. I brought it up. I got it right to the edge of the bank, and as soon as I got it to the bank, my knot came undone.
Oh my god, that's the worst.
And he sat there for a bit. He didn't go back into the water. He sat there on the edge for a bit. And I was like, oh crap, let me grab my flashlight so I can see when I walk down. As soon as I turned the light on, he booked it.
Dang.
And
so
like,
the tournament you're talking about, is that just a catfishing tournament?
It's whatever you can catch basically from noon to a little bit before 9 o'clock the next morning.
And so then as far as when you catch it, is it like you take a picture with it and that's how you claim it? Or
take a video.
A video, okay.
Yeah,
and you got to show it on a scale. And
weighing it, and then with a keyword.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering, because I wanted to set something like that up out here for just whatever locals want to participate. And I'm like, I feel like I have to give them like a key code, and they have to either like hold it in front of the picture of the fish or something. So
yeah, you give them a keyword. So it's like this time our keyword was sour gummy worms.
Okay, there you go.
And I think the year before when I fished it, I think it was just Yo Mama.
How many people are participating in that one?
So this last one, it was over 50 anglers.
Oh, dang. That's a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Top spot won $940-something.
Oh, damn. That's pretty good.
Second
and
place.
what was his, what he win with, or what was his bag?
I think it was like over 65 pounds.
Oh, dang. Catfish or mixed bag?
I think it was mainly flats.
Okay.
I don't know how many, because it was a 3-fish bag. So okay, it's like it could be whatever of those.
Right. He could have a 50-pounder and the 2 5-pounders.
Exactly, yeah. Me,
that sounds pretty fun.
All I caught was a little 6-pounder. Because that other channel cat took off on me. But it's
always I can't imagine, like, when I miss a fish that I see on the shore, I'm usually not upset because I'm like, well, cool, I saw the fish, it went back in. But in a tournament, you're like, that's not fun anymore. Like,
exactly.
now I knew what I had and I missed it. Like, god damn it.
He came
and then
up,
you said you're not slipped too, then you're even more mad at yourself because you're like, oh, now it's, at least if it just broke, you're like, oh, it's a big fish, a little less user error on that one. So.
No, yeah, exactly. It's like he came up, he broke off, but he also took my dang little expensive peg float with him.
Oh, dang. Yep, they like to do that.
And I was just like, dang, this fish took off with that. It's a demon dragon. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
Can't say I have.
Check them out. They're pretty cool, but it's a little pricey for it, and it's just like, you can do the same thing just with a little peg float of just like a normal bobber.
Right. Yeah. I saw like a kind of a thing like that on Amazon, but I was like, they look a little cheap. But I definitely think that's a must for catfish. I haven't used them before, but I'm gonna take them out next time, and definitely, I feel like you have to.
Yeah, it keeps the bait up off the bottom, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't seem as big of a deal when I do striper fishing because they seem to take stuff right off the bottom, especially here at the river. I just have an anchovy sunk to the bottom with a 2-ounce weight. So.
Oh, nice.
But I never get catfish here, so that definitely makes sense.
Well, it's like, have you gone like late at night? Late at night?
Latest I've been here is probably like 9 or 10. Which when I was there, the guy next to me caught a catfish. So. I really haven't targeted all that much of them because most of my fishing's been like striper, trout, bluegill, the fish that I'm trying to eat.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a catfish, so it's time to get one and give it a try.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. They put up a fight as well, but like you really have to sit there and just let your bait just soak.
Right. Yeah. I've caught a couple of them. I caught like a 7-pound black bullhead up at the Lake Mojave over there.
Oh wow.
But other than that, maybe a couple little small yellow catfish on some worms. So
aren't those little yellow ones like mudcats?
I don't know. I just view them as yellow catfish. They're like a bright, vibrant yellow.
Yeah, they're like yellow, or they call them bullhead too, I believe.
Yeah, a yellow bullhead is what I saw, like when I on FishBrain or any of the other apps. That's what they classify them as. But same thing with like carp. They'll say like mirror carp or grass carp, but they're all just kind of the same, I think.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of the larger black, like the black ones, I think those are just large channel cats. They're just darker in color.
I know the black bullhead I bought. He was a weird look. I've caught 2 of them, and they both were the weirdest looking catfish. They had like the gnarliest, hardest head. Like they weren't very fat at all. They just felt like really definitely a different kind of fish.
Yeah, because like that one that I lost, it came up. Yeah. I seen it, and this thing looked like it was like a hybrid blue channel cat or something like that. It was weird looking. But it was probably just a male channel that was just dark in color. But he swam away with an 8-ounce weight or a 6-ounce weight still stuck to him.
That's fun. Luckily, I think most of the stuff's pretty dissolvable now that they make, so it'll probably fall out pretty quickly. Actually, I don't know. Are like the standard hooks you buy, like a Gamakatsu hook? I know like in the ocean they have the dissolvable ones for sharks, but how long do you think it actually takes for some of these hooks to dissolve out?
It'll probably take a few months, really.
Right. Yeah, because sometimes like there's a striper I caught down here once, and the hook was in a really weird spot. I definitely couldn't get it out. So it's like, all right, I guess I'm eating you. And so I wouldn't do that with every fish, but at that point I was like, well, I don't want to send you back, and for 3 months this fish is going to have to suffer. So
no, yeah. I've only had to do that a few times with like trout, where it's just like,
right, yeah,
you're a little undersized for me. I don't want you. Just cut the hook or cut the line.
Right. Yeah, trout they seem very unsturdy. I caught 2 the other day, and one of them I had out of the water. Like, I mean, I let it out faster than I let out the stripers when we were just talking right now, and it was basically it was upside down, and I had to move it back and forth to get it going again.
Yeah, so, they expire real quickly. You gotta just like almost unhook them in the water.
That's almost what I was gonna do next time, is just take my net and partially have them in the water while unhooking them. But especially considering they have a struggle just even stocking the trout here, and they keep trying to stock more and more. But there's such big striper out here that they hardly even last.
Yeah, the striper will eat them all up real quick.
Yep, and then everyone comes out here and uses trout lures to fish with. So then the striper actually that probably helps the striper not bite them, because if they're getting hooked by these things, it'd probably make them change their mind. So maybe I got to come out here with some more trout rigs and catch fish to scare them off. There's the Upper Colorado River. They actually pay you to catch trout. I think it's like $20 or $30 a head for catching brown trout. They're one of the species of them, because they're invasive in their portion.
I heard about that recently, that they were doing something like that, where it was like an unlimited trout session, basically.
Yep, and kill as many as you want, and they want you to bring the heads back and take a picture of the dead fish on the beach.
Oh, wow. Because I know in California they do a lot of that stuff with the carp.
Yeah. I was hoping they did that out here. I would have such a blast. I would totally be in there with the spear gun then. That would change my mind for sure.
Yeah, because I follow a guy on Facebook that he does a lot of bow fishing for carp and big bear.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And
they have clear water too.
Yeah, they basically pull out like 30 of them a day, basically.
Damn.
And all it is,
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
It's the same thing here. Like, you could easily pull out 30, 40. Like, I was in a cove last week, and I saw at least 25 carp all in this just one congregated spot.
Oh, wow.
But on a kayak, I don't think it's going to be too fun to pull up a 20-pound carp.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit of a struggle, I would think.
Let alone they stink so bad, I don't want it in my boat.
See, I don't think I've ever really smelt them before.
They're stinky and slimy, way more so than like any other fish I've dealt with. Like,
it's like a really fishy smell.
Yeah, it's fishy, like a dirt, muddy kind of. Like my scale will smell after for like a day or two just from touching them.
Oh, geez.
So I always touch them with gloves, but they've got the weirdest mouth. It's just like
it's a large goldfish, essentially.
It is just a giant goldfish. It's crazy.
It's like when, like the other day, I went, like I said, catching live bait. I had a couple small carp in there. It's like there's just a huge goldfish.
Yeah.
It's like I could have put them in a tank and kept them.
That's actually, I might even put a carp in my backyard pond just for cleaning up algae and stuff. But I am afraid he'll get too big, and then what do? Like, wouldn't really feel comfortable throwing him in the river.
So you just cut them up and use them as cut bait.
Right? Yeah, true. Yeah, that makes sense. I've never fished with carp as bait. I don't know why I haven't. I should do that.
So live bait for me has worked really well, whether it's carp or whatnot. I haven't really tried cut bait. Besides, I think I used a cut bluegill one day.
Okay.
Don't remember if I caught anything with it though.
The cut bait I've used, I bought some herring from Bass Pro Shop out of Vegas. And then just anchovies. That's pretty much it. So.
Oh, nice.
Bluegill would be fun. I want to catch a bluegill this summer and use it as live bait.
They are fun.
Yeah, that seems really fun to do.
Nope. Did you hook up again?
No, I was pulling drag out that time to cast out. That was. Shoot, what was I gonna say?
Were you gonna ask me something about bluegill or something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys have bluegill down there as well too?
Yep, there's all sorts of like those little, either bluegill, red ear, whatever people want to call them.
Okay. Yep.
All sorts of types of sunfish.
I know there's some black crappie on this river, and apparently Havasu has them as well too.
They are down here as well. I haven't caught any. I have a few friends have caught a few decent sized ones out here.
Great. Yeah, it definitely seems there's only a few around, and just a few select places too. So, and anyone who knows, they don't seem to want to share as well too. I've asked a couple people, and they're like, "Yeah, just go down there." And I'm like, "All right, well, that doesn't help all that much."
My buddy of mine, he's told me about a few spots basically where it's like, go here to catch bait, go here if you want to catch these.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
Cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's like Pokemon back in the day when you start unlocking worlds and you like see everything and like a whole different thing. Like, I'll be in other states and stuff too, and I'm like, watch, there's going to be a carp right down in here, and then sure enough, you look and there is. So it's fun to learn all little things and to realize like there's fish everywhere.
Oh yeah,
you just don't know it.
And it's like whenever I go driving around places and stuff, I'm like, that body of water looks fishy.
Exactly. Yeah. I have a little collapsible, it's a 4-piece ugly stick, and it collapses down like super small, and I keep that in the back of a trunk in both my vehicles just in case.
That's awesome. No, it's like in my truck, my personal vehicle, because I have a work vehicle as well. It's like I kind of want to take it in there, but it's like, nah, I'll get in trouble if I fish while working. But
yeah, exactly. It'll be too tempting.
Yeah, I keep one of those little dock demons in my personal truck.
Okay, yeah, those are cool.
And just have that lined up with just like 7-pound mono, and that thing works pretty good.
Yeah, you can't beat them for a little travel rod like that. I like the ugly stick a little bit better, just because when it's open, it's like a 5.6. It's like an actual fishing rod at that point. The only thing that sucks about it is the top portion likes to fly off when you cast, and so every once in a while I got to reel it back in, hoping that I'm going to get the tip back.
Oh, geez. That's odd that it actually comes out like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried pushing it down and giving it like a quarter turn. I thought of maybe scuffing it up with some sandpaper to maybe make a better seal on there, but I've always had a problem with it since I bought it. So I still caught it like a 6-pound trout on it, so that was pretty cool. It's 4-pound braid, and didn't know what I was doing and managed to land it surprisingly.
That's pretty cool. So, out of all the different species of fish, I know you said the biggest was like a carp. What other biggest species have you caught?
Next up would be like a 7-pound catfish. 6-pound striper's my best. I haven't caught a lot of huge fish, so definitely the carp being one of the biggest. And I actually recently just picked up an Okuma saltwater bait cast reel, like a big one with like an 8-pound line or something on it. So I'm going to take that down to the ocean and see what I can catch out there. Maybe like a leopard shark or some of those, a skate, I guess they call them.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't
stingrays and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know much about the ocean and fishing it, but I'm going to head out there and give it a try. It looks fun.
I fished like Oceanside before and in San Diego. And usually the piers and stuff, I'll sit there and catch like anchovies out there using a sabiki rig.
Okay, yeah, I got one.
Yeah, simple little thing with a whole bunch of little hooks on it. Catch those anchovies and use those anchovies as bait after.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be down in Ventura, so a little bit more north from where you were at.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've fished that far up. I think the closest, or the more north, was like Newport.
Yeah, I mean, if you're down near San Diego area, you would be a fool to drive away from there to go fish Ventura. I just fish there because I go visit my parents back in Santa Clarita. So
oh, nice.
I pick Ventura just so I don't have to hit all that traffic.
Yeah.
Especially now. I've moved like 10 years ago. I couldn't even imagine what it is now.
Yeah, it's like me and my wife. She gets a little bit of anxiety whenever we drive back to California to go visit family. It's just like there's so much traffic.
I do too. I know I'm a good driver, but when I get down to California, it's a mess down there. People are crazy.
Yeah.
They're worse in Phoenix, though. You'll get big rigs in the carpool lane going 95 miles per hour.
Oh, yeah. I've been out to Phoenix a few times, too, and it's just like, it's terrible out there.
Yeah, I honestly, LA driving is easier than Phoenix. Phoenix is probably single-handedly the craziest place I've driven. Yeah. They call it now basically LA. I think Phoenix is on par to be like one of the bigger cities in the whole country, if they aren't already like close to it.
Well, it's like Phoenix. You have Phoenix, and you have like the greater area of Phoenix, which is like Tempe, Scottsdale, all the other areas that are within it.
Yeah, there's some super weird fishing down there. All their little canals and little lakes that they have out there that people fish at.
Well,
like,
see,
that's crazy.
It's very much just like Yuma with the canals. Okay. But I think over there it's a little bit different because it's like from Phoenix you can go a little bit more north and you have trout fishing right there, just right on some of the rivers. And it's like I kind of want to try that one of these days. Go out there, fish the Salt River or something like that.
I just did the float on the Salt River like last summer, and I think we're going to come back this summer to do it. But I saw so many trout. I didn't have any fishing gear with me, but tons of people were on the shore fly fishing, spinning rods, and they were catching one after another. So
yeah, because I hear they stock those trout up there too, though.
Yeah. And there's some horses, wild horses that'll run up in the water and everything. It's just a crazy cool spot. Cliff jumps and there's like a sandbar where everyone parties at and stuff.
Yeah, see, out here we do a little float down thing like that as well. I'll sit there and I'll catch bluegills basically the whole time we're floating.
Right, that's dope. This river doesn't do much floating like that because there's so much jet ski and boat activity, and the rentals here, I don't trust any of the people for one, but it's just not the best river to float. If you maybe a kayak, but I noticed a lot of the times when you're floating in a tube, you just end up getting pushed up into the rocks.
Yeah. We've done, like years ago, me and my family, we rented some jet skis there, in Laughlin, and we ended up getting flipped because some other guy was going around us, basically circling us.
Yeah, I watched just the madness, the craziness that ensues. Luckily, the spot I'm at right now is blocked off from like a little barrier.
Oh, nice.
But the moment I go anywhere south and fish, it's actually dangerous to fish on the shore. You have to watch out for jet skis hitting you.
Oh, jeez.
It's that bad. And some guy ran over my line. He was like 2 feet off the shore and saw my line, ran it right over, kept going. Then his hat blew off his head, and he turned back and saw it and just kept driving off. And I'm like, all right, that's a weird move, but all right.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, you see all.
Oh, go ahead.
All kinds of crazy people are down here, and they're usually on vacation, so they just treat the town like they own it.
Yeah.
They don't care. Throw their trash on the ground, but it's all good. Still beautiful out here.
No, yeah, and that's like one of the things to enjoy with fishing, though, too. It's just like you get out just to get out and enjoy it.
Right, and every once in a while, too, I don't mind the jet skis. Like, there'll be some people on a stand-up jet ski doing a bunch of tricks and backflips and stuff. Or
oh, yeah, those are cool things to see, yeah.
Yeah, cool jet boat going by. And I was talking with my friend yesterday about it. He's like, do you think the boats affect the fishing? And I'm like, not really, because I was fishing the Havasu Channel, and there was $200,000 boats going by with like 2,000 horsepower, and I was still just catching bluegill and smallmouth one after another. So I don't think it matters too much. What do you think?
It probably depends on the area. Whether
right, that's what I was. Yeah, because Havasu in the channel, there's never not a boat going through, so those fish are probably just used to it. Compared to like you probably go way in the backwoods somewhere, and I bet just a trolling motor would scare them.
Yeah. That's basically what it is. Just all that boat pressure. Eventually, they've gotten used to it.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because like I've came up on just walking a creek basically, and just like all the fish scatter.
Yeah, there was these bluegill yesterday. I was like 20 feet away, and I made my cast out, and it was in the air casting, and they ran off. I was like, damn, how'd you even see that?
Yeah, that was like when I got that tilapia the other day. Same thing. I was throwing a cast net. And I seen it, so I was okay. Let me grab my rod, go over there, and just even walking by, you see them just scatter. And I'm already 20 feet up on the top of the canal bank, and these guys are 20 feet down. It's like they seen me still.
I've heard like up at Lake Mead, they were bow fishing some tilapia, and they were having a really hard time because I guess they're not on beds right now, and so they're like really alert and just trying to like avoid anything at all cost, like.
Yeah.
But that was up at Lake Mead. I was watching. Did you ever watch the Lake Mead update videos?
No, I've actually never even heard of that.
There's a guy on YouTube. He does like fishing, hunting, and all kinds of stuff. But I started watching him because they were doing a Lake Mead update on how low it was, and so they were going out looking for like the barrels with the dead bodies and sunken jet boats and.
See, I remember hearing that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were out on the lake basically the whole time, and now they got a channel on it. I'm trying to think of the name, I kind of forgot it, but I'm sure if you went to like Lake Mead Fishing and Hunting Lake Update, you'll find it. Sin City Outdoors is what they're called.
Okay.
Pretty cool channel.
I'll check it out, yeah.
But yeah, they have the sign there on the launch ramp where it'll say where the water level was in like 2014 or 2020. And so it was like a good half-mile walk down the launch ramp to get to what the water used to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy how low it went.
So I remember an area like that where they had to do some dam repairs in California. It was, what is it called? Lake Paris.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it.
They had to do some dam repair, so they lowered the water, basically. And I remember finding so many things just because of how far down it went.
Oh, right, I bet.
It's
time to magnet fish. Oh,
not even that, just walking the shore.
Right.
I found so many kayak anchors, boat anchors, old soda cans, old beer cans that were, like, from the 80s.
Damn. Probably still in good condition because they're from the 80s.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, there were still a label on it, still very legible. Well, yeah, we had found a whole bunch of different things. A lot of broken fishing rods.
That sucks. Probably weren't broken until they got towed around by a fish or something. Probably didn't have their drag set, and
probably.
There's been a couple times I didn't have my drag set properly, and a carp came and hit my pole, and it was the only reason it wasn't flying. The only reason it didn't fly off was because this dock has this like metal thing, and so my eyelet was holding it from flying off.
Oh wow. Man, I know my dad has had his pole get pulled in one time and couldn't find it for anything.
Yeah, a couple guys I know out here have the little floating things on their rods, but that doesn't always help if a fish takes off and your drag's not set. It's just going to tow it under.
Yeah. It's like I remember I even sat there with a treble hook, sitting there just dragging the bottom, just trying to see if I can get his pole, but the thing was gone. It was at a local pond, but still.
I did that with a minnow trap. The first time using a minnow trap, I didn't clip it on properly.
Oh, man.
And so I threw it, and like when it landed, I was like, that's weird. It almost feels like there's nothing connected to it now. And so then I reeled it back in and realized that I just launched the minnow trap as far as I could into the water, and it was gone. But same thing, tried with some treble hooks and some jerk baits or some crank baits to get down there and try and grab it, but never could grab it.
Yeah.
They dropped the water at the end of the summer, so I'm going to go back there and see if I can get it then.
Well,
but our water's so clear, if someone was on a boat, they would have seen it, and I bet it's probably pretty easy on a boat. And it was only like 10 feet of water, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they can just drop something straight down, basically, and just pull it right back up.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm sure some guy with a fish finder saw it from 100 yards away.
Probably.
He knew exactly what it was and saw it. He was sitting on his couch at home, and he knew it was there.
Have you ever seen those things with guys, what is it, live scoping?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I guess if you're going out to eat and you want to catch a fish as fast as possible and go home,
yeah,
I think that's awesome. But like a fishing tournament, smashing fish all day long with that is like, I don't know. It takes away the sport.
I'm gonna say it almost seems unfair, really.
And I wouldn't even use the word unfair because it's like apples to oranges. A lot of people are like, well, if you can't afford it, then obviously don't do it. It'd be like going to a golf tournament and realizing the pros have way nicer gear than you, and you really can't compete because of it. Which is fine. I don't think it should be for tournaments, especially if you're trying to have a tournament be for like conservation and building a sport and like community and stuff. So,
yeah.
Because even the way they do the live wells at the fishing tournaments and like pictures on the stage and stuff, and I'm like, that's a lot to be taking these fish through.
Yeah.
But even then, I worked one of the fishing tournaments, and over the whole weekend, they caught like 500 fish, and I think only 3 or 4 died in the whole time. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive, let alone how many fish were caught and brought up on the dock and weighed and pictures. So
that is, yeah, it's like all the stress and stuff that they're put through with that.
Right. And then, so I don't know. I don't think the weigh-ins should have the fish, like, they were, 50 yards away from the lake, where I'm like, that's crazy. Because I've heard of them in the lake as much as possible.
No, yeah, it's like I've heard of tournaments out here where they've gone to weigh them and whatnot, and next thing you know, they put them back inside the lake or the river, wherever they're at, and they just belly up.
Yep. That happens a lot because they catch them from super deep, and so they're going to stay alive a long time, but they get air inside their stomach. So when I worked that tournament, the Fish and Game was actually there doing like an injection to pull the air out of their stomach.
I was going to say, yeah, they like down. Poke them basically so they just...
Yeah, exactly. So, and then they put the little weights on their fins to try and help them be more stable. But
yeah.
So there was quite a bit of that. A lot of the fish probably would have died had there not been like the intervention of the people. But I don't think it's too bad. And back to the fish finder thing. I mean, I get it. It's fun. It's like kind of cool. Like the way you get to see the water and the way you would fish it would completely change. It's like unlocking night vision or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not really fully against it. I just personally think for me, I mean, maybe once I use it, I change my mind, which is probably the case with majority of the people.
Yeah. It's like I've seen people use the fish finders and stuff, and it's like you'll see them when they use it to find bait fish, balls of bait fish, basically. They'll use a cast net and throw it out there, and next thing you know, it's not bait fish, it's just a school of catfish. You pull it up, and it's like, this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I've noticed a lot of tournaments don't allow you to use live bait, like the bass tournaments and stuff.
Yeah,
so
they want you using
at
artificials most of the time.
Yeah, so at least that's a good thing that they're not coming to our, like, these big tournaments coming through, stealing all the bait fish. That'd be a bad thing, so.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, I guess they're catching more fish, but at least they can target a quantity or like a size, a weight. You know, if they're trying to catch the biggest fish rather than just tossing out and catching 25 fish, maybe they're only going to cast out at 5 fish that day and try and catch them. So
yeah,
I could see it going both ways. It could be good or bad. You know, they might see a bass that looks small and they're like, all right, let's skip this one.
True. Very true.
But then that also probably isn't good for the lake, just pulling the giants out.
True. So another thing that you had mentioned as well is like local conservation teams, or even also new sponsors or challenges.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was telling you about the Fishy AF challenge, like completely, made fishing so much fun. It felt like there was something to do as well as just being outside.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for more, and figured I'd see if you knew of anything. And I'm always looking to be a part of helping, any way to help the trout out here, or if there's a carp cleanup or something like that. So just basically anyone who sees this or hears this can hit me up, and I can come out and help out with whatever you need.
No, yeah. So it's like the only challenge things that I actually have seen are just the ones that Fishing Game have, where it's like their big bass challenge, or I think it's just like another catfish one as well.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Basically, it's like if you have a record.
Like derbies and stuff. It seems like some of these derbies are a little bit harder to find. If you're not in the right spot where they're advertising, there's not really like a main place to look. So I'll probably end up. It's kind of a good idea now that I think about it, is to put up maybe like an Arizona statewide spot where everyone can post their derbies.
Yeah. I know
probably is one
out here. They do a few different tournaments. So it's like my friend, he does 2 of them a year. He does a spring one and then a fall one. There's the Yuma Valley Rod and Gun Club. They do multiple bass fishing tournaments and then a couple catfishing ones, I believe. There's another one that's a little bit north of us. I think it's above Imperial Dam. I think they do one where it's like a slime cat tournament, where it's another catfish tournament, or maybe even a bass tournament. I'm not too sure. But those are all usually active all during summer.
Sweet. Yeah, so maybe I'll have to come down there.
And then
I don't know. We don't really have too much going on up here. Like I said, like the tackle shop's not even open. There's not even a tackle shop, so there's really not a lot of companies that would even partake in that out here. Yeah.
Because then I even think I don't know if it's Rod and Gun Club that does it, but I think someone else does it. They throw a Wednesday night, quick little Wednesday night tournaments that they do.
That's super cool. Like $20 entry, $10 entry or something.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's super fun.
And it's just like the biggest of 3 fish. Basically, you take the pot.
Yeah, it'd be fun to get together, do something like that out here. It's like the more I'm into fishing, the more I realize there's just so much to do with it.
Yeah.
Any direction, even like unlocking the ocean, like that alone is like ginormous, the kind of species, and it's a whole different set of equipment even too. Like,
very true. It's like I was talking to one of my coworkers today, and he said he's originally from Florida, so it's like him fishing. Basically, he was like, "There's a lot of big ocean fish that I'm used to."
Right. Yeah.
Like
especially, is he fishing out there now?
No. Well, from out there, he came out here. So out there, he's like, yeah, there was grouper, there was tarpon, all the peacock bass, all sorts of different tropical fish.
My buddy moved from Idaho, and he came down here with like all these giant big sturgeon rods and stuff like that. And he's like, well, guess I don't really need these anymore. Those are pretty crazy too.
Sturgeon, yeah, those suckers are huge.
I always thought for some reason they were like an aggressive fish, but I guess they're more of like a carp, like a sucker fish.
Yeah, they're very much like that. There was a cat. No, I don't know if it was just a pay lake that I went to with my dad and my cousin, and we rented a boat, and they had stock sturgeon there. So we went out trying to catch sturgeon. These suckers are like sharks, basically. They'll sit there and circle our boat. And it was just like, we're trying to catch you. This doesn't help. You just sitting there circling.
Well, there's like a couple of the people, and they say the sturgeon's responsible for like a lot of deaths of like knocking people out of their boats because they are kind of like aggressive. And then in some rivers, once you're knocked out of your boat, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, well, I believe they spook easy, though. That's why they're so aggressive.
Right. And then they spook and probably hit your kayak, and out you go.
Exactly.
Definitely on the bucket list to catch, though. But I'm actually going to be in Wyoming and Idaho later in May. My friend works for the national park out there, and he's a pontoon boat mechanic. And so we get free rentals. And so I'm going to be out there 2 weeks, staying in the national park at Grand Teton and fishing Jackson Lake. So that should be pretty fun.
That sounds like fun.
Last year we went down there, and he got married in the national park right on the edge. And then we took the pontoon boat out a bunch of times, and we were out just cruising, and a black bear swam right across in front of us.
That's a sight to see.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I'm sure it's probably illegal and I wouldn't do it, but how crazy would it be to boat fish on the shore for bear? And put like a big hook in the meat or something like that, and then reel them in like.
Yeah, probably highly illegal, but that'd be something to see as well.
Yeah, especially in the national park where they're like, don't even step within 10 feet of them. Like,
don't feed the bears.
Yeah. Man, the Yellowstone used to be wild. They used to have a place where they would just dump all the trash on purpose so that they had a place to go see the bears.
Oh, wow.
But people started getting attacked there, and a couple people died, but I think it was like the 70s or 80s or something. It was just like a big dump pile, and they had bleachers around it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's like, yeah, bear encroachment slowly would get closer and closer to the people because they know that they're bringing them food.
Oh, yeah, and people had, like, food in their bags. Like, they gave no fucks. They were just out there doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of tent camping in those countries because, like, I found out even a citronella candle can attract a bear.
Oh, yeah.
Toothpaste,
sweet
deodorant.
Smells.
I'm like, so basically, I mean, even like a vape or something, like you're screwed.
Yeah.
He's going to want your berries.
No, yeah, I've had a few friends or just acquaintances that I would follow on Instagram that they do a lot of tent camping, overlanding, but like rooftop tent camping and stuff like that. And they've came in contact with bears and stuff that would come along their vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, luckily the roof tent, that seems so much nicer because then you can like fold up your ladder and everything. But
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't mean you can still bring stuff in there. The bear will climb right up that. Like,
yeah.
I was in Mammoth camping a couple years back, and I woke up. I was sleeping actually on the roof of the car because I knew there was a lot of bears, so I didn't want to sleep like on the ground in the tent. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and a bear was sitting on our picnic table eating a bag of cereals. But he was like sitting on top of the table, like the cool kids, and just
funny.
staring directly at me while I was sleeping. And I was like, "Oh, that's unsettling."
Yeah, I've never had things like that happen. The only things that have happened while camping and stuff is raccoons getting into our stuff.
Raccoons, yeah, they love that.
Where they've, we were camping, we heard something in the middle of the night. And next thing you know, everybody gets their flashlights out and looks. And our little food storage bins, you can see a raccoon shoulder deep, basically sitting there trying to grab the bread that's in a bin.
Yep. They're sneaky little suckers. I call them trash pandas.
Yeah, trash pandas.
Now, we get them some down by the casinos out here. There's some massive ones. They're almost scary. We get skunks at the fishing spot I'm at. The skunks will come right up to your pole. Multiple times I've had them like rub up on the side of my pole, and they'll sneak right up on you. They have no fear at all.
Oh no, yeah, they know that the people are scared of them.
Yeah, yeah. And I always tell people, I'm like, just chill. Like, they're not going to do anything. Just back away slowly. You'll be fine.
I've had that happen a few times where a skunk came up on us. Not here in Arizona, but it was in California.
Yeah, they got quite a bit out there. I'm just worried one day I'm going to catch a fish and be like stepping back, and he's going to be trying to walk forward behind me, and it's just going to be an accidental spraying.
Oh, jeez.
And if it's the winter, I don't mind. I'll just sleep outside for a couple days. But the summertime, I don't know. My girlfriend's just going to have to deal with it.
Tomato bath.
Right? Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about that. It sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
Have you been sprayed by a skunk before?
I've came close a few times.
Yeah, luckily I have not been.
Yeah, I've came close a few times where opening a shed at my parents' place and open it up and there's a skunk right in the shed and it's like, oh, shut the door.
Oh, shit. I was grabbing a tire in my dad's garage like 2 years ago, and I pulled one out and a rattlesnake was underneath of it. It had came in probably in the winter time just had been waiting in that tire hibernating all summer and all winter in the garage. But I've killed probably 15 of them in California because we had so many at my parents' house growing up that it was basically like a sport to kill them. So.
Oh yeah, me and my nephews, we used to go out and basically go rattlesnake hunting.
Yep. Have you eaten one before?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I was actually really surprised. I was like, no way is this going to be good, but
I didn't really care for it that much. It was too fishy for me. That's what it tasted like to me. It was just like it had a really high fishy taste to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember picking the meat off the bone, and I'm like, this is kind of like a chicken sausage. I would definitely try it again. It's probably not going to be as good as that time. So it's like I made striper at one lake, and then I made it at a different lake, and I'm like, this is not the same fish. And then I looked up, and I guess that lake has an advisory to not eat those.
Oh, jeez.
They're in like, and not eat them, but it's like you can only have 2 servings.
So
a month
limited consumption. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the red zone compared to the first striper I ate was in the green zone, and I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense why it tasted weird.
Yeah.
I think every species here is in the green zone, as far as I know, for this river. I'm not too sure about you guys down there.
I think it's very similar, but then also they just give you their recommendations. It's like, okay, yeah, only eat this maybe once or twice per week, even if that.
Yeah. Which I've seen a lot of debate recently, like people talking, is it safer to eat the store-bought fish or is it safer to eat a fish you caught? And a lot of people are like, I only eat fish I catch, but it's like, well, the FDA does actually go through and test all these fish compared to like. Sorry, I was getting bites.
No, no worries. It's distracting.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was like filming and fishing.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm glad it worked out though, because it was supposed to be kind of windy here, so I was like, dang, this might not work out too well, but it seems like we're good. It's a nice calm day.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have very much else to ask you. I don't even know. We've
that's all good, man.
Talked quite a bit. We're going at an hour and a half almost now.
Yeah, cool, man. That's like a Joe Rogan podcast, you know?
Yeah. Well, see, it's like I could do the whole things like that or the applause.
There we go. Right?
But yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll say keep doing your thing, and I'll keep working on getting this tackle shop open. And then if you ever want to do a podcast in the meantime, I'm always open. And then if not, I'll hit you up when I get that tackle shop open, and you could do another one or something.
Oh, no, yeah. I would definitely like the updates, basically. So it's like once you get it going, I'll definitely give you more shout-outs and stuff for that and try and get more people to go out that way.
And if I ever get any baits and whatnot, once I start getting those going, I'll send you something down. If you need a surf spike for a sand, I'll send you one for free, too.
Oh, nice.
So just let me know. I'll ship it down to you.
Other than that, you got any plugs, shout-outs that you want to give out to anyone?
Just Holy Shads with a Z on YouTube and Instagram. I kind of just started both those, but I'll be making some YouTube videos and different content.
Okay.
Other than that, that's about it. And if anyone wants to go fishing, they can hit me up anytime.
Cool. And you're located in Bullhead City, right?
Yeah, Bullhead City. So I'll fish like Lake Mead, Lake Mojave, Lake Havasu and Parker.
Okay.
So a couple different places, but definitely hometown is Bullhead.
Cool. Well, it was definitely a good conversation that we had.
Absolutely.
And basically, tight lines, everybody, and that's a good sound to hear right now. the drag going on.
Right. Didn't even raise it.
Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, man. Have a good day.
You're welcome. You too.